Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining us for yet another video. If you're new here, please consider liking and subscribing. That really helps me out. And if you would comment down in the comment section some requests that you'd like to see. But anyway, we'll get to the regular video here. So the last few unboxings that I have done, I've not been real happy about just unboxing things on camera. It doesn't really get to the meat of what you guys want to see. So I figure we'll do this as product spotlight going forward as opposed to taking things out of boxes. I hope that's okay. So anyway, this showed up on Thursday at my store, and just now having the chance to be able to get video here on Friday. So I wanted to start by actually showing you the box. So this is the top of the box here. You get an idea of what that picture looks like, as well as the sides have all the information on the model. More on this side here as well. Now I like the fact that they have continued with the radio that is in the 8S models. So that's having that telemetry feature is pretty nice for battery life. Looking at this side over here, this is the color that I was actually hoping we would get, so I was very happy to get that. Now you can see on the hood of this thing, they give you some options for what you place on this hood, so you can kind of customize this to your liking. I, for one, am really happy about that. I always like customization, so that's a neat feature. So anyway, we'll go back to the car itself here. So first thing I want to show you is this body. The detail that they have done on this body is pretty incredible. So you see on the hood, I don't know if you can see, there's some divots there in the body. You may see if we can line up that glare a little bit. There's some divots on that body, and that's how you would mark the hood. That's how you would drill the hood to attach some of those customization pieces. But this is the one that comes on here as far as factory goes. Get an idea, the detail that they've tried to cram into here. Now this black and orange, these are actually multiple pieces. So that is a neat feature when we're talking about packing in detail, because they're able to do a lot more when they do that as multiple pieces. You get a look at that detail here on the side skirt, on the back as well. Nope. There we go. Now you can see. Now if you look at the bottom, you can see those exhaust tips. This is something I didn't know or didn't notice until I took the body off. All right, now flipping the body over upside down, you can see that side skirt that's part of the body. It actually tucks underneath. And you can put some screws in here and mount the side skirts to the chassis itself. I kind of wish they would have done this because they've double-sided taped the side skirts onto the body, and that's something, if you've ever used that double-sided tape, that might come off, and this would be a much more secure way of mounting that. So like I said, I wish they would have done that, but if you wish to mount it underneath, it appears that there is the option at least. Now getting this body off of here so you can get a little bit better look at it here. That car is quite heavy to hold, to try and swing this around for you to get a closer look at the detail that they managed to get in here. So I love the raised, the exaggerated raised door handles and exaggerated door jambs. This is something that's hard to do when you mold a body as one piece, because getting it off of the mold is quite challenging. They've done some venting in the back here. You can get a good look at that, and that venting allows airflow to move through. I also like that they have elongated these body post holes here as opposed to making them just circles. This is nice because as things kind of settle, and if you smack the car hard, you might get a little tweak or twist in the chassis, and this will still let you get your body on with ease. So that's a nice little touch that they do. Tamiya is the other company that does this quite a lot with their body post holes, if that's something that you find interesting. So looking at the front here, you get a really good look at what they've done. They've mounted the front of the body to the bumper, which I kind of like, because again, packing that detail in there, there's no way they wouldn't have been able to get that very deep look out of there if they molded it as one piece. So that's a neat trick to doing multiple piece bodies. If you look over on the side here, you get a good look at that new heat sink and fan, just trying to keep the temperature down. But also if you look in the inside here, you can see that groove that's in the front of the motor, and that groove holds an E-clip. So that way, if your pinion gear comes loose, if your pinion gear set screw comes loose, you don't lose the pinion gear. So that's a nice little touch that they have added. Looking at the chassis, it is very much an infraction chassis. So if you're familiar with that car, if you've ever looked at that car, you know what to kind of expect. Now, see that bolt-on? That's part of that muffler that I showed you earlier. This is a thing, again, I didn't even notice in any of the picture or any of the videos, but when I finally got this body off of here, you get a really good look at what that looks like underneath there. So that's a feature that I thought was a pretty cool little unique twist. The rear of the body is mounted to the chassis just like the front one is, and again, getting these deep lines in here, that's the only way to do that is because they mold these things separately. And looking at the other side, not much has changed from the infraction, so it's very much the same model as was before. So if you're familiar with that model, you get a really good idea of what this looks like. Now over here, they have added some bearing stabilizers to the drive shaft here. Now, one thing to note about these is that if you do like to drive your vehicles in damp conditions, you'll need to manage and maintenance these bearings, because if these get locked up, it'll put a strain in your drivetrain and, of course, affect the way that your car handles, drives, and the heat that you're going to get built up in it. So that's just something to note with this new improvement that's here. And looking at the back, they have gone with a much wider tire than they have previously. So with the infraction model, this is the tire that is normally on the infraction. I'm not sure if you can kind of gauge the difference in width, but they are quite a bit wider. They're also a little bit taller as well. Now, what they have to do when they make these taller is they have to change the gear ratio for these taller tires. If you're unaware, when you have a four-wheel drive model, what you'll find is that the larger tire will travel further per one rotation than a smaller tire will. So by mismatching your tires, you break your drivetrain because you put everything under a strain. So Arrma has cleverly changed that rear drive ratio to accommodate these larger tires in the back. So if you do want to go with the standard sizes, like from your infraction, or if you want to put some GRPs on here, you would have to change that rear drive ratio. So just keep that in mind whenever you are thinking about upgrades if you're looking into this model. All right, well, I'm going to give you more of the guided tour here, so just hang tight and you'll get a closer look at everything that's here. All right, so I wanted to show you the scale parts and pieces that come with this model. I have this nickel here for a gauge of scale. So you can see these things are quite large, actually. So they're going to look really good on the hood. So they give you a multitude of options to add as far as customization parts goes. I'm not exactly sure where this would mount, so I've not investigated that very well, that little intercooler piece. But anyway, that's included in the kit, so that if you wanted to install any of those parts and pieces. Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I really appreciate you taking a look, and I hope you've enjoyed looking at a more in-depth look at the new Arrma Felon. If you've liked this video or benefited from it in any way, please consider liking and subscribing. Also, hit that bell notification. I preached on this in my past videos, that if you're not hitting those bells, you're probably not getting notified when a new video has gone up. So make sure you go back and do that with all of your subscriptions. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.